welcome back.
Hi, this is the Happy Life Results book reading group.
Nice to have you. Thank you for joining us. So we're going to be doing, we're in the section guide concept number 2, flying, and it's under the keep it simple, and we have 3 numbers, well, you've got my notes, but we also have the graph, so that's is a good visual to find out what page we're on. All right, so we're talking about positive and negative and energy today. Tomorrow we're going to talk about focus. So these are just 3 things. We narrowed it down from 3,000 different words to describe emotions, and now we're going to narrow it just to 3. And this is so powerful. It's super helpful because when we talk about all of the different emotion words and getting really clear on what emotion you're using, well, let's talk about this and then I'll explain why. Okay, so positive and negative. So either it's up or down. So above the line is positive and below the line is negative. And then 2 is energy. So energy level or intensity. So talking about intensity of the emotion. So if you think about, and I'll continue on with this, but if you think about words that describe emotions, they're either an emotion, so you will be using them in a way that's unique to you, believe it or not. Your word for sadness is different than someone else's. Your word for anger is different, your meaning in the word. So whether you want to feel that way in any given circumstance and whether it's the most effective, that's up. You want to feel that way and it's the most effective. Versus it's down, meaning you don't want to feel that way and it's not effective in getting things done that you want to. And so for one person, anger would be down. Like
The word they use.
Thank you.
They might be experiencing a down, intense emotion and call it anger.
Yes, and someone else might be experiencing an intense emotion and it's up. And they call it anger.
Yeah, they want to feel that way and it's effective for the result they want. But they call it anger, which the first person wouldn't.
Yeah.
If they didn't want to feel it, they would call it anger. If they wanted to feel it and was effective for the situation, they would call it something else.
Yeah, like exhilaration or intensity.
Or focus or something. Yeah, like there would be different.
Drive, passion. They might call it passion.
So what's crazy is the way we use language. We can be confused because we think other people have the same meaning that we do for the words we're using, but in all cases,
we can't verify.
It would be very difficult to prove that 2 people have the exact same definition for any word.
Yeah.
And your meaning even changes from usage to usage. Like today, if I say something about the weather, I have I'm coming from a completely different background and completely different context. So,
yes.
So it's going to be a different meaning, even though it's the same word.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, so like if you even thinking of it that way, like if you're like, okay, if someone was angry at themselves because they forgot to bring their pencil from the table and they have to go back and get it. That's pretty low intensity. The energy, yeah, well, depending on the person, of course.
Yeah.
But they use the same word. If they use the same word, I'm angry at myself for forgetting. Versus if someone cuts them off in traffic, using the exact same word, or the word upset.
Yeah.
It could be a very mild intensity thing that something was upsetting. That was very small, like they accidentally colored outside of the lines or something.
Yes.
The intensity, I know we're supposed to do intensity tomorrow, but we're talking about the...
No, intensity's today.
Focus, that's right. Good, good. Like, you use the same word, get upset about something, when you can talk about the same word can mean something extremely intense. Like how upsetting a loss of a loved one is. The same word upset, but it has completely different intensity level. So that's the challenge with language. You even have words that mean the exact opposite. That's not emotion words, but fast. can talk about speed, it can about moving, or if you hold fast, fast can talk about not moving. The same word fast can mean the complete opposite meanings. So language, as just because of the fluid nature of it, is part of the reason that things can be so complex, and it can feel like it's so hard to master this whole feeling good and getting the results you want, because we've used language to try to describe what's going on, and it's language is, yeah, it's just complex all by itself.
Yes. Yes.
So
Coming from someone who's learned to speak a lot of languages.
so that's one of the reasons Stacy said, okay, how can we make this more something that you can narrow it down and you can use precision, and then you can really know what's happening and put it into numbers, or put it into some kind of model or graph, or how can you make it so it's not lost in translation, really.
Yeah,
lost in translation.
True. Yeah.
Trying to figure out emotions can get lost in translation.
Well said.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, we'll catch up with you guys tomorrow. Take care. Oh, you want to talk
one more
about
thing, just the graph in the book. Here, can I show it? So, the designer for the graph liked the balance of this, but really, the way Stacy described it, the negative and the positive would be lined up underneath each other, because you can go from the high intensity to the low intensity without going all the way back down. So this kind of looks like you go back all the way to zero and then go the other way, but you noticed in her description, you can go straight from one to the other. You don't need to go all the way back down to zero. You don't have to lower the intensity before you can switch it from up to and down to up. And you've experienced this in your life.
A good example is a jump scare, where you're you're frightened, terrified in 1 second, and you realize it's your best friend, and then you're elated, and happy. So it's the energy just was the same, but the up down flipped.
And that's a good example for the result too. When it's down, the reason it's down is because if you freeze when they scare, that is not the best way to deal with a threat.
Yes.
I will hold still while you do whatever you're going to do, right? And usually you drop things, and usually you lose control of your limbs, and that's not the most effective state. I don't even know why biology does that to us, because that is not the best way to deal with an oncoming threat.
No.
But so you went from ineffective and not really able to think very clearly for a moment, and then you shifted to, oh, it's my friend, to laughing and then recounting what just happened and things like that. So that's a good example of
up down
intensity, down and up, on the same lines. You didn't have to go back to, all right, now I'm in a Zen meditation mode, and then I'm going to ramp back up to laughing about what happened. That's not what happened. You go, dum, dum.
Yes, exactly. And I wanted to say that also, when you're talking about going, should we do it tomorrow? Yeah.
Okay, we'll do it tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
See ya.